Tight.
Tight.
That was a good show.
Yeah, man. Oh, we didn't get. Oh, by the way, if you live in Austin, Car to Go is also another.
Oh crap! I forgot to ask.
That's fine. It's
I was
fine.
even thinking towards the end, like I'm gonna
It
like, bring
didn't.
that
Yeah,
up.
it didn't. We didn't really. The conversation wound up going to another place. But Car to Go used to be the way to do it from all the pros, the real hard party and pros that I knew that lived in downtown Austin. Not Brian. Brian kind of lives out in the boonies. But,
Right.
So the idea is these are all over the city. They're these little escape pod, these like Toyota Yaris, if not smaller, little two-seaters, right? You subscribe, but you don't book them like you would
like a zip car or something.
like a zip car or something. You literally just see on your app where the cars are. You hop in. It's charged by the minute. You park it on the side of the street. You leave it go. And you just walk away. And so
now, what if you park it in a like meter without paying for it?
I think they street parking was what they like. You had to park it in some kind of a street place.
So I guess if they get a ticket, they'll know you were the one using it at that time or whatever.
Yeah. So you have to be kind and rewind in terms of the collective parking. But the cool thing is it was fairly inexpensive, especially if you're just going around across town. It was only a 5, 6, 10, 20-minute maybe ride. It was inexpensive, and then you car to go there, and you would Uber back.
So you save a little money on the front end because you're car to go, but you don't have to worry about getting the car back.
Exactly.
I would have definitely used that if that was available in 1998.
Wouldn't Google's like self-driving cars pretty much like own this industry, because you just bring up your smartphone, the door unlocks, you get in, drives you there, does whatever.
Yes, but so would a series of drones where you would just hang on like a monkey bar and go as the crow flies. Like,
Ian says Car2Go has agreements with the city to sort out stuff. I assume he's referring to tickets and things.
Titles.
Yes, titles. We need them.
That kind of Lux is just for us.
Nice. I'm a sucker for a Lord reference.
Oh, wow. Breaking news, Sunbun in the chat room. Adnan Syed of Serial fame granted new trial due to failure of cross-examining cell phone tower expert.
Sorry, what?
Adnan's getting a trial.
Oh, the serial person. Got it. Interesting.
All right. Hey, Lux, take me drunk. I'm home again. Do you even lift, bro? Ride sharing the system. Austin as a service. Where can I pick you up? Austinites no longer Uberites. Driving for a city. Pardon me. I came for DTNS. I stumbled into Cord Killers.
Or Night Attack.
Night Attack.
Or a Veronica short of a Dragon Con panel.
Designated drunkard.
I kind of want to do that kind of Lexus just for us, but I think it's less clear than what was the other one? Austin as a service.
You want to do Austin as a service?
I don't know. What do you guys like?
Austin as a service makes a little more sense than that kind of Lux is just for us. But that's me.
Mr. Young?
I would say, let me take a look at him. I think that kind of Lux is just for us. It's a little wordy. I kind of like Austin as a service.
All right. Done.
Austin
as a service. Service of not letting you get away without fingerprint background checks. No, I thought we did a good job of steering clear of bothering digging up the corpse of that debate and just getting on with like, okay, look, this is what they did. So
Yeah.
now what? Now what?
It's gonna be an amazing future. I'm sure of it.
The more we talked, the more I realized, like, yeah, Justin's right. This is a great press opportunity for Lux, but they are not the solution. They will not become the thing that sweeps the nation.
Also, I hate valets.
Well, that's the biggest part, right? One of the things I love about Uber is it's usually 5 minutes or less.
Yeah.
At least where I'm lucky enough to live in a place where that's true. If all of a sudden it was like, well, you have to tell us when you're coming, because that I don't know if we made that clear, but that is part of the thing with Lux, and you have to tell us 15 minutes before you're ready to leave. I'm like, oh, that's just not as nice as being able to be like wherever I want to be. You have to tell them. I don't know.
I'm sorry. It takes the spontaneity out of traveling, and then you're doing all these. It's not just planning. You're now micro planning.
It is a great service to have. If I don't know. Actually, it's a better service to have. Somebody should provide that service for you when you didn't know you would need it. Like that's the problem is you have to schedule it up front. I can't drive to the bar and then come out of the bar and go, whoa, man, I can't drive.
Exactly.
That's
so. Here's and the argument against your point of like, oh well, a competitor can come in here and establish a market hold is the reason why Lyft and Uber are pulling out is not is number one that they don't want to show precedent that they are that this is something that they will cave to because you got a lot of other city council members in a lot of other cities who want to be famous and want to be the ones who tagged stuff on to Uber and Lyft. They've very much so many times of Uber's and Lyft's own making had contentious relationship with city regulations. They have relied on the will of the people to demand, if not out and out lobbying, to demand like they did in Austin to disastrous effect that they bend the regulations to them. But Uber and Lyft's point of view is, you want to know what? If you think you can make money doing this with this regulation, then have at it. Because Lyft isn't making money per transaction. Uber's barely making money per transaction. So their point of view is, you want to know what? You want to light money on fire? Go ahead. Lose $1 per ride, but make it up on volume. Now that you have all this oxygen to breathe. Whether or not, I think ultimately what's going to happen is that Austin's going to cave. Austin's going to say, hey, look, really all we're here is for safety. We're going to strike a bargain with these companies to say safety first. And it'll be the Austin Safety Initiative. And they'll all sign it and they'll all shake hands. And
well, yeah, Uber and Lyft will come to the table with some kind of something that says, well, we'll start using this background check thing, which is even stricter than the one. And then that'll give some face saving. And yeah, I think you're probably.
I mean, eventually Uber and Lyft are going to come back. But in the meantime, it is very interesting to see what springs up because this is not a bad idea.
Well, and that's where I was going is somebody's going to figure out how to work within the existing rules. And if they do, when and if that happens with Uber and Lyft, suddenly they'll have an easier time and they will be competitive in a way that Uber and Lyft won't be because they will have been operating in the city through the whole shebang.
Yeah, I mean, although the higher security threshold means that the barrier to entry is higher, and we have seen in the past, especially when you have entrenched market leaders, that oftentimes the regulations that are created to curtail the market leaders wind up also creating a higher barrier to entry for market disruptors, right? And so that's why we're talking about Lux, because Lux, we're not doing ride sharing, we're doing ride returning. Like, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, but it is different to say I'm driving your car home for you.
I'm not saying that they're not that they're misrepresenting themselves. I think they're totally representing themselves right. I'm saying that there's a reason why it's coming from outside that field that has this, a regulation that Uber and Lyft are calling onerous, and not from inside. And that's why I would say if Lux decided, oh wow, actually there's kind of a market here, and we could kind of afford, provided we don't get any new regulations thrown on us, we can afford to make this more competitive or afford to uncouple our parking service from our ride home service. And
and here's the other thing. The valet restrictions are more rigorous because you're dealing with handling people's cars while they're not there. Yeah. I wonder if Lux is looking at it saying, even if the city of Austin came at us, we'd qualify because we already do X, Y, and Z.
And that's true. But oftentimes this kind of governmental heat does not necessarily come down. Well, here, let me just put it this way. I had a friend of mine that used to work for Chuck Schumer. She was an intern for Chuck Schumer.
All right.
Her job every day.
Senator Charles Schumer.
Senator Charles Schumer, who was famously the famous idiom about Charles Schumer is the most dangerous place in Washington to be is between Chuck Schumer and a microphone. Chuck Schumer used to, and I'm sure still does, right now, there is somebody who is either wrapped up or is getting ready to cut out headlines from all the major newspapers in New York City and New York State to count up how many were there for Chuck Schumer. And at the time, the other senator from New York was Hillary Clinton. And then to compare them to the other person. He would then take those headlines or the other headlines of the day and would fashion his points on top of it. My point is that notoriety oftentimes equals governmental attention. Go ahead and ask DraftKings and FanDuel how they think they would have done if they both hadn't become the two largest sponsors on ESPN in one calendar year, because they had a lot of regulation that was brought on them when they became very, very successful and famous. That's what happened to Uber and Lyft, and if Lux took off, it would happen to Lux too. Now, whether or not those regulations would be successful, that's another story, because as Brian pointed out, the Uber and Lyft thing wound up going down the way it did because there was a real sword fight, the kind of sword fight that doesn't happen with tempered blades between the city.
Valerian steel.
Yeah, and the companies. So maybe they'd handle it differently. Maybe they'd handle it better. Maybe by the rules, they would have the correct case that they were covered. But, that ultimately doesn't mean all that much when that was the exact same argument that Uber and Lyft made beforehand.
Still have Lord running through my head now. Thanks, everybody. That kind of Lux is just for us.
We are a different kind of what?
Bus.
Must?
No, I don't. That's not what it is. I just was looking for a transportation rhyme. That kind of ride hailing. I'm going to start saying ride hailing when I talk about these companies because there's very little sharing going on in any.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening or just not doing either and somehow playing us for no reason. We appreciate all of it.
We love it. We love it all. Hopefully, email in. You got or go on the Reddit, man. Talk on the Reddit. What we want to do is continue to create an